What kind of person likes strippers for their personality?
Drake.
You will?
Everyone thought Drake and Travis were tight, hit songs, party photos, and onstage chemistry. It looked like nothing but love, but beneath the surface, a quiet tension was boiling. What started as brotherhood evolved into silent competition. Behind the scenes, ego, betrayal, women, and respect. This isn't just a feud, it's a hidden war. Let's break down the silent dismantling of one of hip-hop's most unexpected rivalries. When Drake dropped his Fireverse on Sicko Mode, it felt like two titans joining forces. The track smashed charts in clubs, instantly going viral. But something felt off behind the scenes. Drake had expected co-leader status. Instead, it became Travis's moment. Fans praised Travis's transitions and production more than Drake's iconic verse. Sources say Drake felt sidelined, like he was the engine, but not in the driver's seat. For a guy used to being the main event, that stung. The jealousy wasn't obvious yet, but the seeds of resentment were planted, and they started growing fast. Drake's used to one thing, dominating, so when Astroworld knocked him off the Billboard top spot, it hit hard. Worse, Travis's album was boosted by merch bundles, something Drake saw as gaming the system. Drake, who prided himself on traditional streams and fan loyalty, started questioning the integrity behind Travis's success. In private convos, he downplayed the win, hinting it was a fluke. But to the industry, it was Travis's breakout moment. Suddenly, the young gun from Houston wasn't just riding waves, he was the wave. And Drake? He wasn't happy playing second fiddle, even temporarily. Drake doesn't dislike other rappers. He makes you feel it in the silences, the captions, the lyrics only insiders understand. Fans began noticing subliminals. Sicko Mode felt like a setup. Drake opens the song, but Travis takes it over. Was that intentional? Was it shade? Lines about fake friends, industry snakes, and ego leaks showed up in Drake's verses. He even liked a few shady posts online. Subtle but loud for those watching. No diss tracks yet, but the body language, the interviews, the energy, it was shifting. Drake wasn't beefing, but he wasn't bonding either. Travis wasn't blind to the tension. Word inside his camp was that Drake didn't see him as an equal, more like a sidekick. That wasn't gonna fly. Travis started pulling back, skipping OVO-affiliated events, passing on collabs, and subtly repositioning his image. He leaned into fashion, branding, and production, outgrowing just being a rapper. His camp began whispering that Drake was jealous of Travis's cultural pull. With Nike deals, Dior partnerships, and Kylie Jenner headlines, Travis was ascending on all fronts. And instead of chasing validation, he let the silence speak volumes. The distance became intentional, strategic, cold. People noticed studio sessions that were supposed to happen didn't. Producers close to both camps revealed that collabs were being canceled, or worse, ignored. Travis's team wasn't responding to OVO outreach. Rumors swirled about beats being pulled last minute, ghosted meetings, and icy responses. The bromance was over. Travis wasn't petty, he was tactical. He was protecting his brand, his independence. There was no room to be Drake's second act. Behind the scenes, both teams were navigating the split like a business divorce. No public drama, but the doors were slowly, carefully being closed. This might have been the moment it all exploded, but nobody said it out loud. After Travis and Kylie Jenner split, Drake was seen at events with her. Nothing too wild, but the optics? Dangerous. Even a simple conversation between Drake and Kylie turned into a tabloid firestorm. Travis, usually calm, took it as a violation. Whether or not Drake crossed any lines didn't matter. Perception was reality. In hip-hop, women connected to the crew are off limits. But Drake didn't seem to care. That alone may have ended any shot of a real friendship. It wasn't just business anymore. As whispers about Travis spread, Drake's team began urging him to tread carefully. Some advisors believed Travis was using Drake's name and legacy to launch into a different league. Fashion, partnerships, cross-branding. He's taking notes, not showing love, one insider claimed. Drake, known for giving the younger generation a platform, started looking at past collaborations as possible setups. He started saying no more often, keeping features tight and limiting access. If Travis was playing chess, Drake wasn't going to be the pawn. His next few moves would be quiet, but deeply calculated. Drake started reclaiming space where Travis had recently risen. He dropped music that intentionally overlapped with Travis's wave. Spacey beats, trippy visuals, psychedelic themes. But his message was clear. You got this from me. When Drake released tracks like Laugh Now, Cry Later and teased cryptic visuals filled with coded symbolism, fans caught on. It wasn't just music, it was power play. He began inserting himself into conversations Travis was dominating, forcing comparisons. Drake wasn't going to allow someone he once helped overshadow him. This was the beginning of an image recalibration, from big brother to cold competitor. Drake began tightening control on his image and alliances. He reconnected with his core, Toronto, OVO, longtime collaborators like 40. There was no more unnecessary outreach to cool artists, no chasing trends. Drake wanted to remind the world who set them in the first place. Behind the scenes, he was more calculated, strategic. Every Instagram story, every feature, every lyric became part of a bigger game. Travis wasn't publicly targeted, but he wasn't acknowledged either. Drake knew how to erase people without saying their names, and to him, that was the real power move. While Drake recalibrated, Travis's fan base exploded with loyalty. After the Astroworld tragedy, many expected Travis to fall off. Instead, he returned with carefully orchestrated moves. Collaborations with Dior, a new album rollout, surprise performances. His fans framed him as the artist, and Drake as the industry. A contrast began forming. Travis, the rebellious innovator, Drake, the polished veteran. Though Travis never publicly mentioned the tension, his artistic direction leaned darker, more isolated. Fans read between the lines. Online forums lit up. It wasn't beef, it was competition. And in rap, that's often more dangerous. If Drake ruled radio, Travis owned the stage. His concerts became chaotic experiences, from suspended roller coasters to fan mobs. And in those moments, Travis didn't need a diss. His shows were statements. He would perform Sicko Mode without Drake's verse, letting the crowd chant his parts louder. To many, it felt like a silent strike, erasing the man who helped make the song a hit. Travis's stage became his studio, his pulpit, his war room. While Drake curated, Travis activated. And his message? I don't need the throne, I built my own kingdom. Once constant collaborators, Drake and Travis slowly removed themselves from each other's orbit. No more joint concerts, no Instagram love. Even award show interactions were reduced to dry nods or subtle avoidance. The industry noticed. Behind the scenes, publicists kept them apart, and event organizers double-checked guest lists. The two were no longer fam, they were two powerful brands too big to share the spotlight. And the crazy part? No one ever confirmed a feud, but sometimes silence tells the loudest story. The world didn't need a headline. The cold shoulder was the headline. Drake began doing what he does best, playing the long game with subtlety. On OVO Sound Radio and curated playlists, he started spotlighting artists that sounded eerily like Travis, but weren't. A&R insiders claimed he was giving platforms to the next wave, making sure Travis didn't dominate the soundscape alone. On social media, Drake liked tweets questioning Travis's originality, never posting anything himself, but making his opinion clear. It was Drake's way of disrupting the algorithm. Not a diss track, not a post. Just cold, strategic silence and digital shadowboxing that made fans read between the lines. Sicko Mode was a mega hit. But when Drake began leaving it out of his setlist during tours, people noticed. He stopped mentioning the track that once defined their collaboration. Rumors began. Was it royalties? Was it pride? Some insiders suggested Drake felt used, that Travis benefited more from the track than he did. It became symbolic. Every time Drake skipped Sicko Mode, it was like redacting a chapter from their shared history. It wasn't about the song anymore. It was about distance. And the message? I don't need that record. I don't need him. Then came the verses. Drake dropped a feature on a low-key track with a rising UK rapper. The line, "They ride waves I created, then drown without a float." Fans instantly tied it to Travis. It wasn't direct, but it didn't have to be. It was textbook Drake, subliminal, cutting, and deniable. Blogs ran with it. The bar made its way into reaction videos and genius annotations. Every time Travis dropped something experimental, fans dissected it to see if Drake was mocking him through style or lyrics. Drake had weaponized ambiguity, and everyone was listening a little closer. Travis stayed mostly silent, but he let the visuals do the talking. In one music video, fans noticed a scene showing a figure that resembled a rapper staring at a mirror, wearing an owl chain, a possible OVO dig. Another video featured burning neon signs, with some speculating it symbolized burning bridges. Travis didn't respond to theories, he just smiled in interviews, shrugging it off. But in the world of subliminal warfare, that smile was as sharp as any bar. His silence was intentional, and it made fans wonder what was coming next. Things took a corporate turn. As both stars competed for brand deals, Nike, Dior, McDonald's, it became clear companies preferred one at a time. Drake's knock-a-line at Nike didn't overlap with Travis's drops. Sources said it wasn't accidental. It was industry diplomacy. There were whispers that Drake's team pushed for exclusivity, not wanting to share space with Travis. It was a quiet war over audience, influence, and culture. Brand loyalty now mirrored musical alliances, and when fans wore sneakers, hoodies, or bought meals, they were picking sides whether they knew it or not. The tension finally spilled into the public eye at the Grammys. Both artists were nominated, both attended, but they didn't speak. Cameras showed Drake nodding politely during Travis's performance. No emotion. Travis avoided eye contact altogether when Drake walked by backstage. Industry people started talking. They're not even pretending anymore. At the after-party, they were seen at opposite ends of the venue, surrounded by their crews, ignoring each other like strangers. What had once been a musical brotherhood was now two empires coexisting, but never touching. It wasn't war, it was something colder. When Drake's inner circle began doing interviews, small shots slipped through. A producer hinted at copycats trying to ride OVO's aesthetic. A longtime friend joked about artists screaming over beats with no soul. Fans connected the dots. These weren't random comments. They were subtle digs, and the name Travis kept popping up in YouTube comment sections. Drake didn't have to say a word himself. His circle became his messengers, pushing a narrative. Travis may have the rage, but Drake had the blueprint. It wasn't beef in the traditional sense, it was chess, and Drake was positioning his pawns carefully. OVO Fest was Drake's crown jewel, his stage to celebrate alliances. Travis Scott had once been a guest, but not anymore. Year after year, his name was absent. The internet noticed. "Where's Travis?" became a trending question. It was clear. Drake was curating his stage to reflect loyalty, not just talent. By excluding Travis, he made a statement without making a sound. In hip-hop, not being invited can be louder than a diss track. The absence stung, and every OVO Fest without Travis added another layer to the growing divide between the once-aligned stars. Out of nowhere, a leaked reference track appeared online, allegedly written by Drake for a Travis feature that never dropped. The track wasn't confirmed, but the vocals were unmistakable. Fans swarmed Twitter, speculating, did Travis reject it? Did Drake pull it back? The lyrics contained lines that echoed a familiar vibe, almost as if Drake had written the skeleton of a hit, and Travis walked away. Some saw it as proof that Drake once supported Travis creatively. Others believed it was a calculated leak to show how deep Drake's influence really was. Either way, it stirred the pot. Travis finally broke his silence in a complex interview. When asked about Drake, he paused, smiled, and said, "I respect the history, but I'm building something different." It was classy, but distant. He didn't praise, he didn't insult, but he didn't align himself with Drake either. It was the first time he publicly acknowledged the tension, and it said everything. Travis didn't want to be under anyone's wing anymore. His tone was firm, his words carefully selected, and fans could feel it. This wasn't just a creative split, it was a declaration of independence from one king to another. When Travis launched his Jack Boys project, people noticed something strange. None of the OVO crew were involved. Not a single beat, feature, or shout-out. Instead, Travis embraced a new generation, Don Toliver, Sheck Wes, and others who followed his chaotic, psychedelic vision. It was a clear signal. Travis wasn't just moving on, he was building his own kingdom, one that had nothing to do with the Drake blueprint. The Jack Boys weren't just protégés, they were weapons. And Travis, the general, was ready for war. Quietly, confidently, he was setting the tone for a new era, and it didn't include Drake. Then came the digital silence. Drake and Travis unfollowed each other on Instagram. No likes, no tags, no shared moments. For fans, this was confirmation. The bromance was dead. In a world where social media tells the truth faster than interviews, the unfollow hit hard. Travis posted cryptic stories, dark aesthetics, moody captions. Drake stayed on brand, vacation pics, flexes, hits. But beneath the surface, fans knew the Cold War had reached full digital detachment, and once the follows disappear, the bridge rarely gets rebuilt. At Rolling Loud, Drake surprised the crowd with a cryptic freestyle. No names were dropped, but the bars? Razor sharp. Built empires, they still beg for floors I stepped off, he rapped. The crowd went wild and fans started decoding lines like they were gospel. Was this another jab at Travis? Many thought so. The cadence, the timing, the indirect shots, it all lined up. Drake was playing the long game, using live moments to throw shade. He didn't need a diss track. The message was clear. He still saw himself as the architect and Travis, just a tenant. Then Travis dropped a single that rocketed to #1. No features, just him. The Billboard win wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. He posted a photo on Instagram holding the plaque with the caption, "Did it my way." That stung, especially since many believe Drake had once played a behind-the-scenes role in Travis's rise. The message was subtle, but cutting. I don't need your cosign anymore. It wasn't a diss, it was evolution. And Travis was thriving without leaning on Drake. Fans were split. Was this competition or just growth? Either way, the rivalry was very real. At the Grammy Awards, they both showed up. At different times, no photos, no conversation. Sources backstage said it was icy, not hostile, but cold. They walked past each other like strangers, one insider said. That moment made headlines. Fans zoomed in on photos, dissected body language, and turned 5 seconds of footage into TikToks. Drake's demeanor was smooth and unbothered. He didn't address it publicly, but he didn't need to. The tension was undeniable, and the public got confirmation. This wasn't a media invention, this was personal. Two giants now standing on opposite sides of the room. In a rare podcast appearance, Travis opened up, sort of. People love to see us beef, but truth is, I just stay loyal to my vision, he said. It wasn't an attack, but a reminder. Travis wasn't chasing validation. He had his own lane now. He talked about keeping a small circle and trusting his instincts over industry politics. The message was clear. No more mentors, no more big brothers. Just Travis. Fans appreciated the maturity, but it also underlined the fact that things between him and Drake might never return to what they once were. Drake eventually addressed the rumors in a subtle, calculated way. In an interview, he was asked about Travis and said, "I got love for everybody, but I move how I move." That line echoed online for weeks. It was classic Drake, cool, vague, and laced with deeper meaning. He didn't deny the feud, nor did he fuel it, but he confirmed what fans had long suspected. The days of them working closely were over. The mutual admiration had faded. The throne had room for one, and both men were reaching for it, just not together anymore. The dust never officially settled. There were no diss tracks, no public blowouts, just silence and success. Both Drake and Travis continued to dominate the charts, headline tours, and build empires. But something had changed. The brotherhood from the Sicko Mode era was gone. In its place, cold respect, cautious distance, and parallel empires. Some fans hoped for a reunion, others liked the competition. But one thing's for sure, the unseen feud added depth to their legacies. In a genre built on dominance, their Cold War became a masterclass in subtle power plays and hip-hop history.